It's a 3-hour drive from Spokane to Wenatchee. You drive through the basin of Washington State where they grow everything, and then you drop down into this river valley where Wenatchee lies, and it's full of apple trees. This is the apple capital of the world.
They have an annual Apple Blossom Festival. It's a very beautiful time of the year in Wenatchee. Petals are flying through the sky. It looks like it's snowing.
Wenatchee, the town with a catchy name, celebrates its 18th Apple Blossom Festival.
And there's a big parade of floats, and it sort of honors this small town heritage.
I think all of us were in the parade at some point. I had to have been in kindergarten, and I was in the parade, and my mom's walking with me, holding my hand, and it's a cute picture.
Wenatchee Valley is a great place to raise a family.
It's changed since I first came here over 40 years ago. We've got our Walmarts, Costco's, and mom and pop shops. It's just a great place to live.
It's seemingly a close-knit kind of community. And I think that's what kind of made things go off the tracks.
You've probably heard about Wenatchee, Washington, the all-American town that by some accounts is home to a sordid child sex ring.
Neighbor after neighbor convicted of unthinkable crimes against kids.
The Wenatchee sex ring cases began in 1994.
Over 2 years, 43 people were charged with 29,726 counts of child sex abuse.
It was the largest sex ring in the history of America at that time.
Police in Wenatchee say that child sex ring was known to participants as the Circle.
Police allege that the basement of the Pentecostal House of Prayer was the scene of almost weekly orgies in which 5- and 6-year-old children were forced to sing Bible songs, then have sex with a number of adults.
The state's chief witness in most of these cases happens to be the 11-year-old girl known as D.E.
Just tell us how the grown-ups did it with all the kids.
They take turns.
I can't believe that the children lied, the CPS would be lying, the doctors are lying.
You're saying they're lying? The children? Either the children or the authorities. Who's lying?
I've never seen an investigation that is as thorough as this one.
You're absolutely certain that Detective Perez has followed police procedure correctly in this investigation?
Yes.
It's only now, when you look at it 25 years later, we can see what happened in Wenatchee.
Everybody should have a right to repent and redeem themselves. But I'm having a hard time forgiving.
Wenatchee has people who are hardworking and God-fearing and appreciative of their neighbors. You can see this as America's Eden, but humanity is burdened with that serpent in the garden.
If I could tell my 11-year-old self one thing, it would be run. Get the fuck out of there. Save yourself.
Between January and December of 1994, there was a spike in the number of child sexual abuse cases in Wenatchee. At least 20 people were arrested.
Another person has been charged.
Another suspect answers to charges in a startling case of sexual abuse of children.
Police say this is all part of an investigation that now involves 25 adults in the Wenatchee area.
Sherrytown was the first arrest that was made. Sherry accused her husband of having molested their children. She wasn't sure, but she thought he had, and so she went to the police department about it.
My youngest son brought up the fact that he had stood watch for my husband while he was molesting my oldest.
So you reported it?
Yes, I did report it.
Sherry had an IQ around 77, and her husband, Genetown, I believe was not much higher on the IQ than that. Perez said, I know you've done this, you better tell me what happened. After a lengthy period of time, she started saying that she had been molesting the children as well.
My husband was having the sex to start with, and then he got me into it.
What was significant about this arrest was that it really started suspicions about other people in that neighborhood. Detective Perez and Tim Abbey had this belief that there was more to this than just simple intrafamilial abuse. It was something that was within their small community.
They began arresting person after person after person for these horrendous charges of child sexual abuse.
Mark your arrest.
A storm of allegations of child sexual abuse rages in the remote mountain-sheltered community of Wenatchee, Washington.
Police say there will be some more arrests coming in the future.
They begin with the Towns, and then Tracy Hockett, Timothy Durst and Joyce Durst, and the Cunninghams, then the Holtz.
Shortly after dinner, there was a knock on the door, and it was Bob Perez and Tim Abbey. They wanted to take Amber and Megan for an interview.
Christmas of '94, I was 11. My mom told Megan and I we were going to have to talk to some police officers, and we could trust them, and that they were trying to help our brother.
So we got the girls ready, put their little coats on them, and we took these little girls out on the front porch and told them everything was going to be okay.
And I remember Carol told them when they went out the door, just tell the truth, these are your friends. They will help you. We didn't see them again for quite a while.
If I had known what they were going to do, I would have hid my children. I would have taken them and run. I had no idea what was coming.
So it was me, Bob Perez, and Tim Abbey. Bob Perez had all of these stuffed animals like along his desk, and he asked if my brother had ever molested me. He asked if my parents had ever molested me. You know, and I said no, no, no. Bob Perez told me that he knew that my parents had abused me. He kept telling me to tell the truth, and then he started getting really mad. He did kind of do like a half stand out of his chair like this, and he had his gun right here on the table, and he said, "You have to tell the truth." And I think I probably peed my pants a little bit, but you have to remember, I was 11 and I knew nothing about sex except for very like stereotypical, cartoonish innuendos. After I realized that this wasn't going to end until I told them something. I told them that my mom had a French maid outfit, because in my mind that had something to do with sex. And I told them that I came into an upstairs bedroom and my dad asked me to lay on the bed, and he laid on top of me naked. After I told them that, they said okay, and then they put me in the back room and brought Megan. She was 9 years old. Megan wouldn't say anything to them, and she would just shrug. In my 11-year-old mind, I thought They were going to find out that I was lying and that they were going to arrest me. I was terrified. Tim Abbey and Bob Perez called it a night, and they called a CPS worker to pick up me and Megan, and they drove us out to a foster home in Kashmir, and we never went home.
I started to get the feeling that it wasn't a good situation. And I called the police station and I asked them when they were bringing the girls home. And I said, well, because it's getting late and the girls need to get to bed. And then a little while later, there was a knock on the door. And Mark went to the door and he stepped out and then he was gone. And then there was another knock on the door. And I looked out there and there was a police officer saying, ma'am, can you step out on the front porch? And I stepped out and he said, you're under arrest for child rape.